You think you know people, and you think that it's all about money, and it's not all about money. It's not all about money with people. Anytime you're interacting with someone, there is an exchange of energy, period. Anytime you interact with people, there is an exchange of energy. And either their energy is increasing or their energy is decreasing, which is draining. And if you have good energy, you're going to 9 times out of 10 come into contact with vultures. Many people who are going to experience an energy like yours that is increasing, and it is making them better in some kind of a way, whether it makes them look better or whether it makes them feel better or what have you, but it is expanding on their life. They are going to want to possess that energy for themselves. And that's all it is about. It's not about money and it's not about status. It's about energy. It always has been. This is about an exchange of energy. And going back to what I was saying before, when it comes to Ghana in the Young Thug situation, it was supposed to be an agreement, a contract. That's it. You saw a young man who was gifted, talented. He had the ability, he had the creativity. He just was in a limited environment, or what they call the quote unquote the hood. Just because you're from the hood doesn't mean that you don't have what it takes to be successful. You just don't have the resources. You have everything that you need. You just need an opportunity. Young Thug presented himself like he was going to give him an opportunity. So he decided to invest. It wasn't a friendship, it was an investment. You saw someone that was talented that didn't have the platform. So that you had the money and you had the platform and you had the reach. So you invested in the person as a product, not as a person, as a product. So when you invest in the person and you took your money, you took your platform, then you came into an agreement. That's a contract. Okay, in the contract, you have so many albums that you have to deliver, and then you fulfill the contract. And then sometimes there's stipulations and clauses where you have to make a certain return on the advancement or the investment amount plus interest. And then you have a percentage of royalties and tours and all of that type of stuff, masters and all of that. That's business. So he was fulfilling his contract up until street stuff bled over into music stuff. Okay, here's a person that you invested in for music. They didn't come on board for nothing for the streets. So how can you expect somebody to sit up here and agree to or adhere to street politics if that's not what the contract was for? The contract was for the music. I deliver the music, you invest the money, we get you a return, and then we fulfill our whatever our agreement was. And that's what he did. So when the situation bled over to some type of street politics, how do you expect an artist who is an artist through and through, a product, an artist, and a brand to be a street person? They're not. He didn't sign up for that. So here we go with a spiritual situation, pretending under the guise like it's a physical situation. This is not a physical situation. This is a spiritual situation because Ghana obviously has some type of light within him that this young man does not. He doesn't have it. He has been feeding off of other people's light. And you can see that now that he's not in certain people's light because the aura is gone. When you are standing on your own 2 feet and you're not in the presence of someone else and you're not be able to feed off of their light, their charisma, their attributes, their characteristics, then we get to just see you. And based on what we're seeing, him standing in his own light is dull. It's a dull light. The music is not good. I don't know who's writing the music or who's not writing anymore. The melodic flow is not there anymore. The creativity is not there anymore. And the aura is very dull. There is no bright light to the aura. It's not magnetic or anything. So that lets me know that you were standing in someone else's light. You were in someone else's energy. What you say, Stefan? The fashion is off? It's off. Right? I'm not putting the brother down, but the truth is the matter. The truth of the matter is you didn't fall off. You're just in your own energy. This is who you probably were without siphoning off of the energy and the life force of other people. When you are around elite energy, it's not about money. And I think people not understanding that money, physical money, or numbers in a bank account is the last form of currency. Currency means to flow. That's the last form of currency. Before the money, there is the energy. A person can be from the bottom of the bottom, living less than low, but they have the aura, the energy, the charisma, the talent, the gifts. They just need the opportunity and the platform. Well, that's what Young Thug was supposed to present to Ghana, which he said, to Ghana, which is what he said he did through the contract. Well, he's delivering. Ghana was delivering up until the street politics bled over to the business. Now, here we got a situation where we have two young men who have separated and parted ways, just like before, may he rest in peace, with Rich Homie Quan and many people who have come before him. These people part ways, they separate, they go their own way for whatever reason, right? There's a split, there's a disagreement, whatever. You get to stand in your own energy as a person, they get to stand in their own energy. What happens is when someone is feeding and siphoning off of the life force and vitality of another person, they think that they have possession of that energy, that your energy belongs to me for whatever reason. And I came and saved your life. I just listened to the interview. Because you put money into this talented young man, you think he owed you his life? Nobody owes you their whole lifetime. So what? You took him out the hood. He provided not only a profit and a return, not only did he provide a return on your investment, he did that with interest, with a percentage cut. You get royalty percentages, you get master percentages, and you get tour revenue percentages. What else you want with this man? His soul? He gave you what he was supposed to deliver. He gave you the amount of albums that was agreed upon. Why does he need to drop down to his knees and praise you like you God Almighty? And then to sit up here and say that you don't hate nobody else but him, and that you're going to torment him and make his life a living hell, and you want demon time when it comes to this young man, is nothing but sure envy. It's envy, plain point blank. It's not homoeroticism. I know people say, oh, it's a crush. It's not no crush. It is envy, is covetousness. You're mad because you're not him. You have acknowledged certain attributes in this young man, and you wish you had the attributes. You got the money, you got the reach, you got the platform, but you don't got the aura. You don't have the auric field. You don't have the essence, and you don't have what it takes to get to the next level without siphoning off of other people. Period, point blank. So now that we get to see you in your own energy, standing on your own essence, it's garbage. Point blank, period. I'm speaking as a person in the audience, looking up there on stage. It's trash. Then we go see Gunna's demonstration by himself, coming out in adversity, a life-altering adversity like prison. This young man never been to prison. He don't know nothing about no street life for real. And he comes out of a life-altering situation. God bring him out, grant him grace and mercy, and we get to see what he did with his time. He alchemized, he transmuted, he transformed. He went in the dark and allowed himself to take the L, quote unquote, right? For what the public was saying, what you were putting out, all of the propaganda, all of the smear campaign, all of the slander, all of the tactic to try to dim his light, all of the efforts to isolate him, to blackball him. He took it on the chin like a man, went in the dark and worked. He went to work. Okay? Anybody that is of any type of sound mind, logic, practicality, and wisdom, you do not go fight nobody with no bigger platform. He would have outnumbered Gunna. He would have got slayed if he tried to fight him on some anger versus anger. So he fought him through humility. Okay, whatever. You got the money, you got the reach, you got the platform, you got the connections, you have been outmaneuvered. So what did he do? Instead of fighting fire with fire, this young man fought fire with air. He went and he fought fire with water as well. Instead of using the element of fire, he used air and he used water. That's a flow, and that is an expansion energy. So he went into himself and decided, instead of fighting your temperament against you with anger, he's going to irritate you through growth. Right? The Art of War says, if your opponent is temperamental, seek to irritate them, pretend to be weak so that they may grow arrogant. Okay? If your opponent is temperamental, which he is, extremely emotional and extremely a chatty patty. Okay? This go for anyone. When you acknowledge that a person talks a lot, a big gossip. You could just sit back and just watch. They gossip a lot. They're chatty patties. They tell everybody's business. They can be man or woman. It's not just for women. And you watch that, you like, okay, you get to see their weakness. All right. The thing that they think makes them strong, creating alliances and connections with people through gossip, is a weakness. You can think that is cute. You can think that being a drama king and a drama queen is going to give you favor because people love mess and pettiness. It is a lie. No one trusts a gossip. People will kiki with you, they will laugh with you, but they will know that you're not to be trusted. You'll get that mark. That person got a big mouth, got a big ass mouth. And when people know that you have a big mouth, they will laugh and all that and come get the tea. But very seldomly do people trust you. And even if you gain popularity through gossip, people are waiting on your opportunity to get your time in the spotlight for people to talk about you too, because people are messy. Messy people love messy people, and they can't wait till you're the topic of discussion. They just waiting because you're arrogant with your mouthpiece, especially if you maneuvered your way around life like that. Deceiving people, manipulating people, making life people life hard, dragging people's reputation, bearing false witness on people. No one likes or respects a gossip and a chatty patty and a big mouth. And this is what he was doing, going behind the scenes, trying to sway people his way when and it's against your own artist. It's against your own interest. That right there lets you know that you are so temperamental, you're egotistical, you're prideful, and you have low self-esteem because this is your artist, your brand that you are up against. This person is representing your label, and the work that they do is going to bring you interest and revenue. But you can't stand this young man's independence and autonomy over himself so much so that you want your own artist to be destroyed, even if that means you lose money. That's a temperamental person. When you peep game that this person operates off emotion over principle, it is in your best interest to pull back your energy, pull back your efforts. Don't give them no explanation. Feed them with silence and go into yourself. This is where you're going to seek your refuge, your protection, and guidance. This is where God dwells. And in that space, God is going to give you the tactical approach that you need to counter maneuver this person, because it's war at this time. It's spiritual war. It's your energy versus their energy. But their energy is weak because they're emotional. They're not practical, and they don't live no life of principle, ethics, or values. So what they're going to do is talk themselves out of some stuff and talk themselves into some stuff. And while they talking, you're dead radio silence. We're talking about spirituality. This is energy versus energy. This is ego versus principles. This is ego versus personal growth and development. Gunna is clearly a representation of a young man that understood he was outnumbered and outmaneuvered. He said, ignore that person. I already done put them on block. I ain't worried about it. But this is a young man who understood, like, you're outnumbered. Sometimes you'll look out there and you'll say, you're outnumbered. You're outmaneuvered. You're out-allied. The person has more numbers than you. But what do you have? You have will, you have determination, and you have the desire to grow. So even in a situation like that, where Gunna could have went ego for ego, he didn't. Or he could have allowed the situation of this man trying to isolate and blackball him to make him so depressed that he self-implode and engage in self-destructive behavior, like substance abuse, alcoholism, or what have you. He didn't. He rose to the occasion and looked himself in the mirror and said, I need to change. I need to change my association with people. I need to make a better change in my personal decision making with the food that I'm eating, with the way that I'm living, with the substances that I'm taking, with the partying lifestyle that I'm engaging in. I need to grow. All of that is the guidance of God. All of that. So he took it upon himself to take responsibility for himself. While this young man was running around town on the phone, chatting with people, spreading gossip and propaganda to isolate this man was in isolation, putting in work. He was just putting in work. He didn't ask nobody to believe his side. He didn't ask nobody to accept him, validate him, approve him, no, see it my way. He just decided that he's going to go and tap into himself and be his own friend, be his own ally, be his own safe haven. Look out for himself while he didn't know who to trust. You walking around, you don't know who to trust. This man has reach, he has money, he has connections, so you don't really know who to trust. So instead of just sitting up here trying to shadow box in the dark, because it's basically what you're doing. When somebody starts using the environment against you, you're literally going to become paranoid. And instead of becoming so paranoid and hysterical about the situation, he just found solace and refuge within himself, putting in the work necessary to outgrow the situation. Without him even knowing it, he was taking the energy and disarming it. While Thug was trying to build up an energetic army to oppose the young man, he was going within himself, going against himself. Gunna was going against his own self, his old habits, his old conditions, his old lifestyle, his old mindset, his old ideologies, the old version of him, and he was competing against himself, combating himself. He went to war with himself. Young Thug was going to war with Gunna, but Gunna was going to war with himself. You understand? That's a big difference. So yeah, it's back to the outer war. It says you know, to conquer yourself, you can conquer 1,000 enemies by conquering yourself, right? So if I know my opponent is temperamental, they're chatty patty, they love to gossip, and they're using their words to manipulate the environment, because words is a sound vibration. So if you're speaking words in the air, air is an element. So when you speak the words into the air, it starts to move, which creates a what? A rumor. When you create the rumor spreads. So when you're using sound vibration against me, putting it into the atmosphere and making it spread from person to person, and I'm going within myself, looking at my own strengths and weaknesses, I get to disarm you by disarming myself, the weaknesses within myself, because you're not on standby for yourself. Young Thug was not looking at himself while he was in prison. He wasn't taking the opportunity to go within himself and really see what that situation was trying to teach him, because it's bigger than just the streets. It's spiritual. Human beings are spiritual beings in human form. It's an energy. All this whole experience is energetic experiences. Instead of taking the incarcerated time, the time in incarceration to reflect, to introspect, and to get himself together, only thing I kept hearing on that phone is he was talking to any and everyone to distract himself from himself. Period, point blank. There are people who go to prison, and yes, they deal with all of the politics in prison and the violence and all of this stuff and trying to stay alive. But a lot of them brothers be reading in there. They're working out in there. They're getting themselves together mentally. They can't escape the physical situation or the circumstance, but they can escape mentally and spiritually. So they take that opportunity to alchemize and to transmute the energy to feel some level of liberation through self-discipline and control. He did none of that. None of that. All the time on that phone, it was a whole bunch of escapism. It was a whole bunch of just emotional behavior. Little kitty stuff on that phone. Even when he was talking to the females, it was kitty stuff. It was not no grown man business on that phone at all whatsoever. So when you look at the young man who just got out of prison, who's never been in a situation like that, and you trying to create, you're on the inside trying to create obstacles on the outside. This young man peeping game, seeing what it is. You don't want to go there. You don't want to go street for street because you're not a street guy. It's okay to acknowledge your strengths and weaknesses. It's okay to know that you're not on the same equal playing field if it's a dirty field. Just get off. Bow out of that situation. Even every time the challenge and the test came to speak negatively about him on a platform, he did not take the opportunity. That let me know right there he was a man of principles, values, and ethics. He didn't take the opportunity. The Bible says, agree with your adversary quickly. Why? To de-escalate the situation. If you know that you're at a disadvantage in a situation, don't even speak poorly about the person. Don't even give them the satisfaction. They just want just cause to terrorize you, bro. That's it. Because if you go ego for ego, then they're going to say, see, I told y'all we're enemies, we're beefing. But if I let you beef with yourself, right, you're saying my name, but I'm not agreeing. I'm not in agreement and I'm not consenting. So what that means is that it's a one-sided beef. So there's a disadvantage for you and an advantage for me. If I do not acknowledge you, number one, as my equal, that's number one. You're not my equal. You're too emotional to be that. So if I don't acknowledge you as my equal, I bow out because I never signed up for it. I didn't sign up for the war. You created the war. You created me to be your enemy. I never agreed to be your enemy. So there is no fight because I won't fight back with you. Now, it may present itself as a bullying situation where you think I'm a victim, but no one is a victim here but you, and you will fall on your own sword in time. Give it time. What you do is you let a person like this exhaust themselves through temperamental, emotional explosion, right? The Art of War says, pretend to be weak, that he may grow arrogant. And as the person is growing arrogant, right, you're tiring out the people and the resources around you. So you're creating alliances with Wham, 21 Savage, all of these people over the phone. You're exhausting these people because you are so desperate to make a person look such a horrible way. You become obsessed with convincing. And after a while, you look unstable. You understand how unstable that is? You keep bringing up a person, and when people ask about that person, they're not speaking disparaging towards you, but you speaking disparaging towards them. After a while, it makes you look obsessed, infatuated, and weak. And the people are not going to necessarily tell you that, but the people are going to be like, okay, whatever. Every time you come around talking about them even more. And then if they create a contrasting demonstration like Gunna did, he created a contrasting demonstration. What was his demonstration in contrast to what you were saying about him? You said he was weak. You said he was a rat. You said he was a snitch. You said he can't be trusted. You said all these horrible things. He's ungrateful. He's all of this. But every time he mentioned you, it's something pleasant. He don't get too deep into it. So he's not being petty. How can he be ungrateful if he's acknowledging you? He said he's YSL. He said, I'm delivering this album. He's not speaking horrible against you. So he's creating a contrast. So contrary to what you're saying, it don't match. The math ain't mathing. Okay? This is how you disarm an arrogant, wannabe bully who's really jealous because they're not you. So this young man is using all the tactical approaches of peace, humility, self-control, and discipline. Principle, value, code of ethics, calmness, stillness, mindfulness, and intentionality, crushing you through growth and development, crushing you through elevation, crushing you through the graduation of his self, crushing you through advancing in self-mastery. You're looking like a fool out here in these streets. Why? Because all Gunna did was become better. We don't have to go blow for blow. We can go better for whatever you got going on. If you better than me, go outbeat yourself, right? I'm not your opponent. You're your opponent. But you're trying to make me your opponent. But if I don't engage in a fight with you, I disarm you because you're fighting with the air. I'm not there. You're literally fighting a ghost. They're not there. If a person has not physically engaged in an agreement, they're not there. You're fighting yourself at that point. So he, through demonstration, physical demonstration, displayed discipline, self-control, self-mastery, advancement. So even if people are on some street stuff and they know all of the intricate details of the street stuff, they're going to just off of GP, which is general principle, observe you and your demonstration versus Gunna's demonstration. And just on GP, they're going to say, oh, okay, I mean, I don't know all the details, and it might look like it's a rat situation, but based on that boy Gunna and how he looking out here in the streets, people gonna want to rock with the visible proof that somebody has got motion and they're going places. Nobody wants to rock with a loser. Just being honest. Don't matter if you got more money. Your demonstration is sloppy. Your presentation is sloppy. You're moving sloppy. Every time we see you talking about this person like a dog, it's getting very sloppy. It doesn't look good, especially for a man. Especially for a man. It don't look good. It look messy. It looks sloppy. It looks out of order. And people start looking at you sideways like, what is going on? Are you okay? Okay? The person's not saying nothing to you. And every time we see them, they look better and better. They're doing better and better. And then we listen to the music because that's what we're here for. We're not in the streets. We're people in the audience. We're music listeners. We want entertainment. So when I listen to the demonstration of the creativity, right? Wherever you grow in your spirit, your creativity, your output, and your manifestation ability, it goes up. It increases. So because he's open, his heart is open. He ain't mad at nobody. You mad at him, but he ain't mad at you. He's not mad at anyone. His mind is clear because he ain't got you on his mind. You got him on your mind. So he don't have any mental blocks. You see? So God can download creativity inside of his mind because there are not a lot of blocks there. So he get an increase of creative intelligence. He get great ideas, concepts. And so he's able to move around more because the energy is not blocked. Your energy is blocked. You got gun on your mind day and night. You got gun in your heart in an evil and dark and dense way. Your heart is heavy. Your mind is full of demonic thoughts. This man is on angelic time, right? He's thinking properly. His body is moving. It's in flow, which means that what? His circulation is moving at an all-time high. He's running every day. That's a circulatory system situation. So if his circulatory system is healthier, that means that the oxygen can flow to the blood a lot more, which allows him to think at a greater and a faster and accelerated rate to manifest more ideas that will turn and transform into money. Then he has become more magnetic because his energy is lighter, which means that he will pull favor to him. The people will look at him and they'll see his demonstration and they want to be like him. They don't have to know no street stuff. All they know is what they see. Human beings are visual, and I see something that is appealing, something that is attractive, something that I would love to be associated with, something that I would like to be. So they can see what they aspire to be through Gunna, which attracts more wealth, more favor, more people. So all of the people that you tried to isolate from him, you start magnetically pulling other people to him, better quality of people, people that just want to celebrate with him his growth because they would like to do the same or they're on the same level. So you are doing nothing but filtering this man's environment for him, even though you think you're doing it against him. Glory be to God. And you look up and the person that you try to destroy, isolate, break down, call all these forces against this man, all these incantations, all these negative intentions, you see him going up as you're going down. Why? Because you cannot siphon a person who's not in agreement. You can't siphon off of his good wealth or his good energy because he's not going to beef with you. You can only siphon when a person engages in war. When you can get them mad, you can siphon. When you can get them emotionally at a low vibratory stage, you can siphon. But he ain't he's not at an emotional vibratory stage of nothing light. I mean, of nothing low, because he's happy, he's thankful, he's grateful. Every time he's talking, he's positive, he's optimistic, he's moving, he's grooving. The flow of energy is there. So as you are calling upon curses, this man is getting blessed every which way that you can think of. And you can't siphon. So what that means is whatever you were using before, I don't know what glamour magic, what illusion spells, whatever type of wizardry you was using to siphon off of talented people is not there. So you are in your own energy. You can't be in nobody else's energy if there ain't nobody agreeing to it. And you wasn't around Mariah, right? Because she has a gorgeous auric field, but unfortunately she doesn't know all of her beauty yet. But she has a gorgeous auric field. She has a beautiful light about herself. And she's thorough. I have to say that. I may not agree with everything, but she is a very thorough woman. To be a woman, she's thorough. Yes, she may have a little messiness in there because she's a young lady, so she doesn't have all of the life experiences. But if I had to say she's loyal to a fault. Very loyal to a fault. So she has a lot of principles and ethics and values that not even Young Thug was standing on. Your woman is more thorough than you. Good God. You are a broken soul. And from brokenness, you are in that energy because no one else is around you on that high vibratory rate for you to siphon from. It's not there. I'm sorry. It's not there. Whoever was writing for the man before, I don't know what's going on. Whoever was dressing the young man before, it's not there. It's not giving. It's dull. And the sad part about it is when people let you fight with yourself, you lose that war because they're like a mirror. They just put a mirror on you, right? I'm not going to hit you back. I'm just going to put a mirror in front of you. The way that you do that is through silence. If I know you're an emotional, temperamental, arrogant, want to be bully, I'm just going to put a mirror in front of you through silence. Most of that interview, the last interview that Young Thug had, he kept saying he was dealing with a dilemma, right? So he had an internal conflict Gunna's not there. Wham's not there. Nobody's there. It's just him and the interviewer. And he's still in conflict. He on one hand want to talk to the young man, then on the other hand say he don't want to talk to him. No, you do want to talk to him, but you don't want to talk to him for full agreement and to get clarity and resolution. You want him to be your energetic slave so you can siphon and manifest off of his beauty. You want to be the version that he is. You see this version that he is, and you want access to that new version. See, you had access to the old Gunna, the conditioned Gunna. You had that access. And even though at that access, he still had beauty and great attributes, but never like how he is now. You ain't have this new, what Nikki say? You ain't have the new body. You had the old body. You ain't have the new mind. You had access to the old mind. The identity has shifted. It has elevated. So you don't get to siphon this person, but you will siphon it at will the old person. So it's not that you want to talk to him, you want access to this new version. Yes, RG100, he wants to control the narrative of this man's life. For what? The favor of the streets in the audience, those of us who are out in the audience looking. This is about altering someone else's destiny for his personal control, just to say he's God in some type of way. Because most of what I kept hearing him competing with was God. He kept saying, I made you. How you make this man? And he was already in his neighborhood rapping. You can go back and see the early days of Ghana, and he was already rapping and trying to put himself out there. You discovered him because he was putting himself out there. And you saw an opportunity to invest in a product, and you did, and he delivered. What else do you want from this man? You know what I'm saying? You're gonna say you made the person, then you're gonna say, no, I didn't make him, God made. No, you want worship, you want full submission, you want this man to bow down to you like you're somebody, like you're an idol. You want to have full submission of his spirit, his essence, his being, so you can manifest off of his beauty and claim it as your own. You are not this man. And he is clearly not you. You want his identity. You want to cloak yourself in that man's identity and pretend like it's you, it's your swag, it's your juice, it's your drip. It's not. And we clearly see you standing on your own 2 feet, and the energy is not giving. It's not giving. It's not giving what you wanted to give. He said he want him to kiss the ring. Okay, you want him to kiss it. What is it? Swarovski ring. And he's not doing it. He's not doing it. And that's a crush to your ego, because you know it's the end of the road. It's the end of the road. Like, boys to men, this is it. It's closed curtains. Now this young man gets to go off into the sunset and operate in his own energy, his own autonomy, his own independence, and to create a legacy that he agrees with no strings attached. That's how people get real mad when they can't go off into your destiny. They know big things are ahead of you. They're watching your demonstration. When you were at the lowest, that they tried to kick you down at your lowest. So they orchestrated and manufactured your lowest moments. And when you took it on the chin and you took it like a woman or you took it like a man, you rolled with the punches, and it made you a better soldier, and it made you a better person. And it strengthened you. It didn't break you. It just bent you. And you were able to maneuver even in that difficult terrain and still get to your destiny. That makes a person very mad. How did you get to your destination when I put all these roadblocks in front of you? I blocked off all the easy access roads. Every road you could think of, I blocked them all off. How did you still get to your destination when I already blocked off all the roads? God. When something is for you, it is for you. No woman and no man can block your path. When you have come into agreement with God for your destiny and you accept heaven's will for your life, even if you are dealing with 1,000 ops, even if your opposition is 1,000 in numbers and it's just one of you, you're the strongest soldier that you know, and you have no visible battle buddies. As long as you surrender your life to God, it's a defeated foe. It's over with. The war is won when you do not fight. Because if you have me outnumbered and I know that it's a bunch of weak people, right? The energy is weak. So it's not a whole bunch of people against me. It's a weak energy against a strong energy. Even if the energy is in 1,000 people. So it looked like on the oppositional side, the numbers appear to be, they're outnumbered. So the numbers appear to be vast versus you might just be one person standing. You might know one solid friend or have one solid battle buddy with you. And the opposition, their side got 1,000 people going against you. It doesn't matter. The energy is garbage. It's weak because they don't have the will, they don't have determination, they don't have the drive, and most importantly, they don't have the right intention. And the divine protection isn't there because a curse without cause will fail. Why are you trying to go up against me and I haven't done you nothing? You understand? If it was without cause, then you are already disarmed because your intention is not pure. It's illegitimate. So you have an unjustifiable reason for going against me altogether. So life is not going to bend to your will because you're out of line, you're out of order. According to the universal laws of life, you are out of alignment because you have no fault. There is no fault that you can justify for why you're doing that other than jealousy and envy. And it is that same envy and jealousy that will make you self-implode and you're going to self-sabotage and destroy yourself. Because if I do not acknowledge you, you do not exist. Your efforts don't exist. Your tactics don't exist. Your approach don't exist. Even your allies, they don't exist because they're weak. They're weak. Who goes against someone that they do not know and there was no personal offense? You're out of order because you're not standing on principle. Life does not bend for you. But if I acknowledge your situation is a temperamental, arrogant, egotistical, jealous, envious one, I'm going to let you stand in that energy by yourself. I'm not going to even give you nothing to entertain. I'm not going to even entertain you with that energy. I'm not going to do no blow for blow, no fire for fire. I'm going to put you out by flowing on by my business. I'm going to get in some water element. I'm going to get in some air and I'm going to move on. And as I'm moving on and moving up within myself, physically, God's going to move me out your way. He's going to make me so much greater than you that you're not going to even be able to come up here to even start no mess or kick up no dust and keep no mess going. Because as I'm elevating, you're going down the elevator. As I'm going to the 12th floor, the 5th floor, the 16th floor, the 20th floor, you're going down, down, down. Because you in too much heavy energy. Darkness is a heavy energy. He said he's on demon time. Demon time is a demonic energy. It's heavy. It's dense. It's dense. That's why when we think about angels, we say angels have wings because they're able to what? To fly. Because it's a light energy. You're so light and you have ascended so high, you're able to fly, elevate, propel forward. When you are in dark energy, negativity, all this gossip, all this backbiting, all of this spite, jealousy, envy, all of this, what you got going on is heavy. It drags the energetic body and the spiritual body down. So if I let you drag yourself down to a ball and chain, and I just keep elevating within myself, the physical manifestation will align. God will physically move me to safety, physically move me to elevation, physically get me to a protected place. By that time, I'm so high on the hog, you can't do nothing with me. Right? Because at this time, when this young man was down on the same level wherever you left him, he didn't have enough alliances, enough pull, enough connections, enough destiny helpers at that time. As he rose within himself and ascended within himself, he magnetically pulled people that saw him and saw him worthy. As when he saw himself worthy, over time, other people saw him worthy and says, I want to be down with you. I want to invest in you. Oh, I want to ride with you. I want to get on your team. I want to help you get to the next level. Because he saw himself worthy, other people saw him worthy as well, magnetically pulling destiny helpers to him to get him to where you didn't want him to be. They saw his value when you wanted people to think he was nothing and nobody. When you didn't see his value, when you saw his value, but you tried to distort other people's vision to not see it. He went and saw his own value. He believed in himself. He checked in with himself. He locked in with himself. He became the physical manifestation of that value. Therefore, other people could clearly see it and it became obvious. And he magnetically pulled that value to him as well, in the way of manifesting better quality people, places, and things. Now, the playing field is even and you're losing. You're losing. You're losing your mind. What you wanted him to do, you wanted him to lose his mind. You wanted him to lose his way. You wanted him to lose the public's opinion. You wanted him to lose support. You wanted him to lose fans. You wanted him to lose it all. But instead, not only did God give him double for his troubles, he allowed this young man to still be humble enough to understand it was never about you and him. This was about legacy. This was about, in investing in other people by investing in yourself. And who knows what Gunna is about to do? He has a documentary coming out. You see how God give you double for your trouble and restore you sevenfold when the enemy wanted to break you down to nothing? All he had to do was surrender himself to the Most High God, tap in within himself, believe that he was more than what you was trying to make everybody else believe, and then God just manifested his will in the physical, and we get to see how amazing he truly is. But not only that, we get to see you. Good God Almighty. And when that man sat up there across from you and told you you need to heal, that was the greatest wisdom you've ever received from anybody around you. You need to heal. 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 I don't believe you are a bad person. And this is not just him. This is for anybody that has tried to make other people's lives a living hell because of jealousy. You're not necessarily a bad person. You are a fractured soul and a broken person. Broken people love to break people. My God. And instead of reflecting, it wasn't even the politics. Even Woody was talking about it. Wrong is wrong. Everybody was wrong. When you're living in the hood and you're trying to survive all of this drama life that we come from, I didn't come from the best circumstances. I grew up right there in the hood. I didn't participate in the hood, but I grew up there seeing people lose their lives over nothing, bro. People have trespassed. Everybody has trespassed. Because it's poverty, it's lack, it's limitations, it's a lack of options, a lack of opportunity. And so it's nothing to do but to get into some mess. It's set up that way. It's systematically set up that way. Okay, and so you get into it and you trespass against somebody, then somebody trespass against you. But if you live, it is only by God's grace and mercy. So why not ask God for forgiveness for the things that you've done, for the things that other people did to you, and then you live for the sake of your children, your family, your bloodline, your heritage, your legacy. Go on. He gave you another chance. He gave you another opportunity to create memories for your children, to be there to help your children and aid them so that they wouldn't have the same start that you did. And just because you got it don't mean you can't lose it. So why not just steward what God has gave you, even if you got it through spreading poison or whatever you're doing with this music and whatever else you was doing in the streets. If you still have a little bit of it, ask God to forgive you for your sins and the life that you was living. And you ask God for grace and mercy and reform you and transform your mind. Get yourself together, man. That's what the man was saying. You're out of jail. You got the opportunity to be with your family, to make good music again. What is the issue? What's the problem? No, the problem is your vices, pleasure, pain, drama. It's your vices. They're calling you. They have attached themselves to your identity. So even though you got another shot, another opportunity, you don't know what to do with a new time because you are still in an old timeline. So God put you in a new place, but your mind is still the same. Good God, it's just like somebody freeing you out of slavery, and now you're a master of your own life. You're no longer a servant to another man, and you still don't operate in full responsibility and leadership for yourself. The mind is still the same. Even though the body is free, the mind is still a slave to darkness, a slave to weaknesses, a slave to emotional issues. You're unstable in all your ways. You won't let nobody teach you nothing because you think a bank account is going to be, it's going to out trump wisdom and knowledge. It doesn't. It's just numbers. And like Bob Marley say, numbers just keep on going and going and going. They don't never stop. Numbers in a bank account means nothing when it comes to wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That is greater than rubies and gold, because you can take the knowledge, the wisdom, the understanding, and obtain everything that you ever wanted and then some. And you can pass it to future generations to come. That's legacy building. That's filtering out old, negative curses and generational patterns. That's how you break yokes off of your life and the life of your ancestors and your descendants to come. It's greater than rap. It's greater than entertainment. Tam said you are reading. It's greater than rap. It's greater than entertainment. This is bigger than Nino Brown. Are you not getting it? And can't nobody tell you nothing because you're too temperamental. And as the Art of War says, I'm going to say it again. If your opponent is temperamental, the way that you irritate them is pretending to be weak, and they will grow arrogant. It is that arrogance that is a weakness. It is your pride that is a weakness. It is your envy and your wanting to bully somebody and outrank somebody and be on top of somebody that is going to make you self-sabotage your efforts, and all that effort you put into trying to derail somebody's life and destroy their situation, and to slow down their motion, and to put roadblocks in their path so that they won't reach their destiny and to fulfill their purpose in life. You will eventually be the manifestation of the thing that you wanted for them. You appear weak, and now they appear strong. You appear temperamental and emotional. Now they appear of sound mind, intelligence, and calm. You appear out of control and having no discipline. Now they appear to be disciplined and focused in life. Everything that you wanted for them, you become the physical manifestation of your intention. When you look at these people's lives, they are the physical manifestation of their intentions. And all you had to do was do nothing but go and lock in with yourself. That's how you defeat somebody that want to be your enemy. They're not your equal. They're not your enemy. There is no beef. There is no war. Let them fall on their own sword.